Welcome back to another episode of Georgia Forages, the digital series. My name is Dr. Lisa Baxter, and I'm your University of Georgia State Forage Extension Specialist. Today, let's look at how to make a fertilization plan. Maintaining optimum soil fertility is critical to ensuring good forage establishment, production, and persistence. Our forage can only be as productive as our most limiting input. We often use a barrel to illustrate this point. The water level cannot exceed the height of the shortest stave of wood. The water represents our forage yield, and those wood pieces represent different inputs. Even though many producers spend money on chemicals or other inputs, fertility is usually our most limiting factor in many production systems. So let's look at the major nutrients and what fertilizers we typically apply in Georgia. We'll start with nitrogen. Nitrogen is important for rapid plant growth and high yields. Nitrogen requirements will be higher in hayfields than pastures, and warm season forages usually require more than cool season. For example, hybrid Bermuda hayfields require 200 to 400 pounds of nitrogen per acre each year, while a common Bermuda pasture only needs 75 to 175. Both ranges are higher than tall fescue, which only needs 100 to 200 pounds per acre for hay and 50 to 100 pounds per acre for pasture. Common sources of nitrogen fertilizer include urea, ammonium nitrate, urea-ammonium nitrate, broiler litter, and cattle manure. You may have different sources available in your area, but choose the source with the highest nitrogen concentration. Be cautious of the variability in animal manure fertilizers and the concentration of the nutrients to prevent an over-application of the other nutrients. To prevent nutrient losses, we need to divide the nitrogen applications across the season. For warm season perennials, this will be at green up and after each harvest. Cool season perennial forages require nitrogen in August or September for fall growth and stockpile, then again in the spring, usually around mid-March or so depending on weather. Many fescue stands, though, have been interseeded with white clover, which will significantly reduce or eliminate the need for supplemental nitrogen. Annual forages are going to require nitrogen, usually at establishment and then after each cutting or grazing event. Phosphorus is an essential nutrient for root development and reproduction. Common phosphorus sources include diammonium phosphate, monoammonium phosphate, triple superphosphate, broiler litter, and cattle manure. Again, we have to be cautious of the variation in the animal manures and the potential of over-applying phosphorus. Most forages only require 60 to 80 pounds of phosphorus each year if the soil level is low. Many fields require much less. We generally only apply phosphorus once each year in the fall when prices are cheaper because of less demand on the product and spreading services. Potassium is important for persistence, disease resistance, and winter hardiness. Muriate of potash, broiler litter, and cattle manure are the most common potassium sources. It is important to split potassium applications across the season in 2 or more applications to prevent excess potassium take-up or loss. This is particularly important with alfalfa and Bermuda grass stands that are harvested for hay. These forages require up to 250 pounds of potash per acre each year if they're cut for hay. We need to apply roughly half of the potash in the spring at green up and the other half in September or so for winter hardiness. Fescue, annual forages, and Bermuda grass pastures require significantly less potassium, usually only 40 to 80 pounds per acre depending on the soil level. Next, let's look at secondary macronutrients. These include calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. Calcium is important for the basic plant functions, but it's rarely deficient in our soils. Magnesium is a critical element for chlorophyll, and deficiencies are common in acid and sandy soils in the coastal plains. Dolomitic limestone can be used to increase soil magnesium and reduce deficiencies. Sulfur is critical to protein formation, nitrogen fixation in legumes, and maintaining root growth. Much of the sulfur that's available to plants comes from the atmospheric deposition of sulfur released during the burning of fossil fuels such as coal, gas, or diesel. Another substantial source of sulfur is animal manures, especially poultry litter. Work with your county extension agent to identify local inorganic sources of sulfur if needed. Generally, micronutrients do not have to be applied in Georgia, except boron and molybdenum. These nutrients are needed in small quantities by plants, but they play a significant role in nodule formation and nitrogen fixation in legumes. For alfalfa, an annual application of boron at 3 pounds of boron per acre is recommended. Apply molybdenum at 8 ounces of sodium molybdate in 25 gallons of water per acre every other year. The need for boron and molybdenum supplementation in grasses is rare. Finally, let's talk about lime. Soil pH measures soil acidity, and most forage crops grow best when the soil pH is between a 6 and 6.5. Most soils in Georgia are acidic or will naturally become more acidic over time. Lime applications can be made anytime during the year, but remember that lime takes several months, sometimes more than a year, to be fully effective. Agricultural limestone is the most common product used, but other products include wood ash, marl, eggshells, etc. The effectiveness and economics of these products in our forage systems is still unclear. Most producers will apply a dolomitic or calcitic lime. Dolomitic lime should be used if magnesium is also needed. High-quality liming materials are available that act faster than traditional ag lime, but they're generally not cost-effective in our forage production scenarios. So many producers will ask, what fertilizer is best? But there's a lot of things to consider to determine what is the best fertilizer. We need to determine first what the most limiting nutrient is, what effect the fertilizer has on the pH, if we have the equipment available to handle the fertilizer, and finally, what fertilizer is actually available to us locally. You can work with your local county extension agent to refine a fertilization plan unique to your own farm.